He came to hyperbolic psycho and hologram.
And I didn't know we were recording.
I was browsing through YouTube on my phone and I saw this bullshit by world class bullshitters. The link will be in the description. Um, I hope this isn't real. Let's get on with this thing.
What's up, everybody? If you want to join the greatest online Star Wars community, the Fandom Menace, make sure you hit that subscribe button before today's video starts, so you don't miss out on any updates and you're always the first to know when our newest videos go live.
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
A day late and a dollar short is never a good thing in the world of YouTube. Initially, today's video is going to cover George Lucas's disappointment with Disney Star Wars. That video is coming at a later date, like tomorrow. But while in production, the world seemed to spaz out that Kevin Feige, the man behind the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or the MCU for the initiated, would be working on a Star Wars film. As always, I'm the first one to say how much I enjoyed the MCU, with
Right from the beginning, why is Kevin Feige making a Star film when they already told the creators of Game of Thrones that they could do Disney, are you high?
They're like Oprah Winfrey. You get a Star Wars film. You get a Star Wars film.
But I don't blame those Lucas for feeling upset. He has every right to be. But let's get on with this, and I'll be pausing throughout so we don't get a copyright strike on the channel.
the exception of one film that I never liked and a few that have lost their luster, I consider Marvel Studios films to have the best track record in the comic book genre. A lot of the success comes from the meticulous planning with seeds planted years earlier only to see them flourish at a much later date. Thanos was first shown in 2012's Avengers, only to face the team in 2018's Infinity War. Another reason why the MCU has worked so well is that Kevin Feige loves Marvel. There's a passion there, much like Sam Raimi with Spider-Man, and passion breeds quality filmmaking. Over the last few
Until he made Captain Marvel and hired Brie Larson. Yeah, no, you can see you have a passion for Marvel and make that shit. No.
years, we've seen a departure from passion in regards to Star Wars. We've also seen a decline in quality. I've always attributed it to the corporate nature of Disney. Their story is secondary to a few other things: agenda, merchandise, public perception, theme park viability, the list goes on, just like the beat. I've often wondered, what would it be like if Star Wars was given to the people who made the MCU the cinematic event of the decade? Well, now it's officially happening. Star Wars shocker. Marvel's Kevin Feige developing a new movie for Disney. Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy is pursuing a new era in Star Wars storytelling, and knowing what a diehard fan Kevin is, it made sense for these two extraordinary producers to work on a Star Wars film together.
Even the name Kathleen Kennedy was makes me want to vomit. she was like an intern at Lucasfilm when Lucasfilm first began, and now she's ruling it. God damn it. And we both like Star Wars, and to see this happening is like a fuck you to us and the whole fandom.
Walt Disney Studios co-chairman Alan Horn tells The Hollywood Reporter, "To the surprise of no one, Kevin Feige is a huge Star Wars fan. It might surprise many, however, that the Marvel Studios chief is going to be developing a Star Wars movie as Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy makes new plans for a wave of projects set in the universe," The Hollywood Reporter has learned. Feige had discussed a foray into the Star Wars universe in a late summer meeting with Kennedy and studio co-chairman Alan Horn and Alan Bergman, sources say. In response to a query from The Hollywood Reporter, Walt Disney Studios co-chairman and chief creative officer Horn said, "We are excited about the projects that Kathy and the Lucasfilm team are working on, not only in terms of Star Wars, but also Indiana Jones and reaching into the other parts of the company, including Children of Blood and Bone, Emma Watts, and Fox." With the close of the Skywalker saga, Kathy is pursuing a new era in Star Wars storytelling, and knowing what a diehard fan Kevin is, it made sense for these two extraordinary producers to work together on a Star Wars film. Some see this movie as a prelude to a larger role for Feige within Lucasfilm, while others say it merely reflects the Marvel executives' passion for the franchise. A top Disney source says Kennedy remains in charge with no plans for any changes. One knowledgeable source says Feige has told a major actor that there's a specific role he would like that person to play, if and when he takes the movie. However, with Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker set to hit theaters December 20th, it is understandable that Disney would like to keep as much about the future of the franchise under wraps. Skywalker, otherwise known as Episode 9, is meant to be the final installment in the series that was first launched by George Lucas in 1977. It is also meant to win back the fans after the last sequel trilogy entry, Star Wars The Last Jedi, divided audiences.
If the divided audience, like, okay, we put Luke Skywalker, he's all about helping the rebels defeat the Empire. What was the first thing you had him do in episode 8? Okay.
He ran away.
Yep. And that's not Luke Skywalker's character. That continues. Kathleen Kennedy, director of that movie, Ryan Johnson, knows nothing about Star Wars at all.
Even though the reviews were largely positive and the film grossed $1.3 billion worldwide. Nearly 2 years later, it's acceptable to say that The Last Jedi divided audiences? You see how this thing works? They'll lie about you, they'll give you a line of BS, but when they want your money in the future, well, we'll tell the truth about it. So, I'm genuinely surprised that The Hollywood Reporter would say that The Last Jedi divided audiences. Under Feige's leadership, Marvel has had an extraordinary run of hits, including 4 of the top 10 movies ever released. This summer's Avengers Endgame grossed $2.9 billion and surpassed Avatar to become the top grosser of all time, not adjusted for inflation. Feige has a packed slate of Marvel movies and TV shows in the works, and he's expected to take a big role in developing the Marvel heroes like the X-Men that Disney got in the Fox acquisition. Kennedy has been president of Lucasfilm since 2012. She is one of the very few women in top executive jobs at Disney, but she was picked for the job by Lucas before he sold the company for $4 billion that year. In September of 2018, she renewed her contract for 3 years.
Either George is kicking himself in the ass for that. George it feels somehow finished. It feels how the money. Please take Lucasfilm back. Please, man. She is ruining what you created.
Well, we're down one, so there's only 2 left. So far, the 4 Star Wars films produced for Disney have grossed almost $4.5 billion. But while Feige has presided over a mostly seamless rollout of one Marvel hit after another, reinvigorating the Star Wars franchise has not been a smooth process. Gareth Edwards was effectively sidelined as helmer of the troubled 2016 Rogue One, with Tony Gilroy shooting the 3rd act. The film went on to become a hit, generating strong reviews and $1.1 billion worldwide. In June of 2017, Kennedy fired directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller during the production of the prequel film Solo, amid concerns about their improvisational style. Ron Howard stepped in to finish the film, which grossed $392 million and became the first Star Wars pick to lose money. In 2017,
Think about that number. 300 million for a Star Wars movie. Yeah, back in the day, that would be considered a hit. But now, the movies are reaching in the billions. Yeah, not so much.
Jurassic World filmmaker Colin Trevorrow was dropped as director of Star Wars Episode 9 The Rise of Skywalker and replaced by J.J. Abrams, who successfully relaunched the franchise in 2015. Disney chairman Bob Iger conceded in a recent New York Times article that the studio may have made mistakes. I just think that we might have put a little bit too much in the marketplace too fast. One potential trouble sign for Lucasfilm and Disney is the allegedly disappointing attendance at the new Star Wars attraction in Anaheim and Orlando. During a recent earnings call, Iger said that interest in Star Wars Galaxy Edge was still high, and long-term, we have no concerns whatsoever about them. On Wednesday, Disney unveiled a new leadership structure for the Disneyland Resort with Walt Disney World Resort parks in Anaheim and Orlando. Disney has been criticized for their lack of women in top roles in the company, so any move to displace Kennedy may create perception problems. In his Times interview, Iger acknowledged that women and people of color were not well represented, but said, "I'll change that before I leave." While Disney and Lucasfilm have scaled back development of Star Wars movies, in part due to the poor performance of Solo, it is still working on future movies. Both The Last Jedi helmer Rian Johnson and Game of Thrones showrunner D.B. Weiss and David Benioff are working on a feature project to set in the Star Wars universe. And with Disney ramping up its streaming service Disney+, Lucasfilm will be an important piece of the puzzle.
Okay, you have the Game of Thrones guys are making Star movies. I know a lot of people like Game of Thrones, including Craig. And this is becoming a shit show. It is. In another streaming service, Disney Plus, we have too many streaming services as it is. People can't keep paying for that shit. That's why I use my Fire Stick. So yeah.
There's a lot to digest there, but the main takeaway is that Star Wars messed up big time. And now they're calling in the guy who made Marvel into what it is to save Star Wars. Good luck. Through his own words, Kevin Feige has always been a Star Wars fan. It seems insane to be concerned this early in the process. I mean, hell, the news just dropped a few hours ago. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that the first thing I thought was, How are they going to mess this up? Over the past 18 months, there's been a boldness coming from Marvel that has quite frankly disappointed me. It started around Black Panther, but didn't get insufferable until the build-up to Captain Marvel. Prior to all of this garbage, Marvel has been very fan-focused and story-oriented. It felt like the purest form of Hollywood entertainment you could consume. Yes, they wanted your money, but they treated you with a modicum of respect. Since the announcement of Phase 4, Marvel seems to have gone the Star Wars route, where it's a chore to tolerate you. Sure, they'll take your money, but that's it, and you better be thankful for it. A lot of the ill will towards Marvel comes from the mild-tempered Brie Larson in regards to the Marvel fans. And if you want to know more, click on the first link in the description and go down the Captain Marvel rabbit hole, because that's the only hole of hers that's fair for you to be subjected
to. Say any comment on that?
Yeah, my one comment is no one can hear anything. I can't even hear what they're saying.
It seems to be picking up fine and have been almost at full blast. The outplay to think that it puts
Now, I only bring up Brie Larson because there's already a rumor that she's going to be involved in a Star Wars project. Let's check it out. Disney wants Brie Larson to lead their new Star Wars trilogy. Captain Marvel star Brie Larson.
Oh God, no. It feels like that. No. I'm turning it up now because I'm talking about Brie Larson. Yeah.
Larson showed us her lightsaber skills over the summer when she checked out the Star Wars Galaxy Edge experience at Disneyland Anaheim, and after channeling her inner geek once more a few weeks later with another photo of herself dressed as a Jedi, fans have begun to call for the actress to book a trip to a galaxy far, far away for real. No, we haven't. But what are the chances that Brie Larson will show up in a Star Wars movie? Well, she's clearly a big fan of the sci-fi franchise, but given that she's still busy preparing to lead the next phase of the MCU, it's unclear if she'll have the time to hop over to Disney's other behemoth property. That being said, the studio would certainly be interested in having her on board, if they can make it work.
Okay, we did not ask for Brie Larson to be a part of Star Wars in any way, shape, or form. That's a lie by Disney. Disney, you are getting too many hungry. Walt will not be happy with this at all. Walt would pay you a new asshole.
Sources close to We Got This Covered, the same ones who told us Tom Welling was returning to Crisis on Infinite Earths, and that Jonah Hill was signing on for the Batman, and that the CW was developing an Arrow spinoff for Catherine McNamara, all which have now been confirmed, have told us that Disney really wants Brie Larson to take one of the lead roles in either Rian Johnson's new Star Wars trilogy or the one coming to us from Game of Thrones creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. It's unclear which one she'll appear in, if she'll even travel to the galaxy far, far away at all. But, from what we understood, the Mouse House would like to find a way to make it work, and have her continue her MCU commitments while also being involved in Star Wars. And though that may not be possible in the end, we'll keep our fingers crossed that things will work out. Again, no we won't. Of course, this news comes hot on the heels of a report that Disney has begun to lose confidence in Brie Larson and her Captain Marvel character. At the time, we stressed that it should be taken with a grain of salt, that it came from some dubious sources, and while we can't say for certain that it was false, it certainly seems that way now that we're hearing the studio wants her to work on Star Wars. In any case, it's possible that Brie, Disney, and or Lucasfilm will deny this if asked about it, But let's not forget that Tom Welling denied he was returning for Crisis on Infinite Earths on several occasions. And we all know what happened there, right? And while things can always change, we have no reason to doubt our sources, given that they're the same ones who told us Marvel was developing a She-Hulk and Miss Marvel show before the official announcements were made. But we digress. For now, we can tell you with certainty that Disney would like to have Brie Larson take the lead role in one of their new Star Wars trilogies, and as soon as we learn more, we'll be sure to let you know. Please don't. Just don't. So why the hell would you bring Brie Larson into Star Wars?
Okay, enough about bullshit. No. Again, we did not ask for the Wilson to be a part of Star Wars in any shape or form.
That's true.
And I order it the beach. Hold on. The beach can be a Craig these source fans and I wrote that you can bring Watson into it. It was bomb. What's your opinion on it?
My opinion is the only thing that's going to happen is Star Wars fandom is going to go down hill.
Like I have it already. Like
It's just going to drop off the face of the earth.
again, doors. If you're somehow watching this, and if you have the money, take back your company. It has your name in it. It's Lucasfilm for a reason, not Kennedy film, not Disney film, Lucasfilm. I don't know what else to say on it. I'm literally shaking, man.
Yeah.
Okay, to give you guys our perspective, my room used to be filled with souls. The elevator Kennedy opened her mouth. I took them all down. Like, everything I have in my room is a BB-8. That's it. I the how to turn it off.
Turn what off?
The don't know how to close the video off. I guess it is Harvard Mika
And this is Craig.
turning off the
I got nothing right now. I just got hit with some heavy news.
off. Until next time, see ya.